Now, I've spent years cycling through various sales tools that promise the world but actually deliver headaches. And half the time, some of them don't even work properly. So I decided to do something very drastic. And I've sat down and gone through every single sales tool that is relevant to generating pipeline with outbound and inbound led outbound, and created a whole list of my top recommendations. Now, for context, within my company, we spend well over £1,000 per month on software. So it's important to me to have the highest quality for the best price. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my top recommendations and why, and actually give you real tangible recommendations on tools that are actually going to drive results within your business. So if you're a B2B company, ready to really scale lead generation and grow your company to the sky and beyond, this video is for you. Let's get into it. So the first tool type I'm going to talk about is sequences. Now there's loads and loads of sequences out there. We have Smartlead, Instantly, Lemlist, Apollo.io, and that's just scratching the surface. There's so many. Now, in terms of my recommendation, I recommend Smartlead. Now, Smartlead, they're great. So in essence, they're a cold email outreach platform that streamlines lead generation with features like unlimited email accounts, AI warm-up, multi-channel outreach, automations. But what really stands out to me in regards to Smartlead is their API integrations. The documentations is so thorough and it allows you to automate a lot of processes. And as well, they integrate directly into Clay, which is a massive bonus as well. In terms of sequences I would avoid, okay, I've made a mistake here, but yeah, in terms of sequences I would avoid is Apollo. Just because their prices, their price structure, and even how the sequences work. They don't have unlimited AI-powered warm-up. They don't allow you to have unlimited inboxes. And I believe they charge by seats, which is not that great. But yeah, so my recommendation is Smartlead, definitely for a sequencer. Now moving on, I just want to talk about data. Now, in terms of data providers, they some serve a specific kind of purpose in your tech stack. The reason why Apollo is number one for me and is my top pick is simply because they have, in my opinion, the best coverage for the best price. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to build your list inside Apollo and nowhere else. I have Clay as well. Clay, although is not just a data provider, they do many other things. What Clay do is they give you access to data for free. Now it is limited, but the point is that you can build very powerful lists. They can export that list and put it into Apollo or any other enrichment platform where you can enrich directly inside Clay. Massive. Now, although like the others aren't in my top picks, like Smartlead, Ocean, Crunchbase, and BuiltWith, they all have their own place within the list building process. So Smartleads, if you're trying to build a list of specifically e-commerce companies, you're going to use Smartleads. Right? If you're going to build a list based on a previous case study within your business, you're going to use Ocean. If you are trying to look to see what kind of technologies a company is using within their business, you might use BuiltWith and use BuiltWith to enrich or like figure out, for example, are they using Webflow? If you're a website developer, you can see if they're using Webflow. You get that data, you put that into Apollo for enrichment, and then you validate and then run your campaigns or cold call campaigns or whatever. And even similarly with Crunchbase, if you want tech companies, SaaS companies, you use Crunchbase first. You build your list in Crunchbase. Even if you want more like funding information, you build the list in Crunchbase and then you enrich in another platform like Clay or Apollo. Now, so technically, I recommend them all, apart from ZoomInfo. ZoomInfo, they are incredibly expensive when it just doesn't need to be. I believe they charge, I think that their first package starts at around like 15K for the year, dollars, I believe. And it's just, it's a lot of money for data that you can get from either Apollo and from Clay with some further enrichments and so on. Like, it's just not needed. Okay, so in terms of data providers, Apollo, Clay are up there. Ocean, Smartlead, Crunchbase, and BuiltWith are definitely up there. ZoomInfo, stay far away. So now the next tool or kind of sales tools that I'm going to cover are your validations. Okay, now validations are so important, right? Please just focus on this part. Now there's loads and loads of different validation companies out there, all promising you various things. And even find email providers, which is when they search for the email for you. I made a video previously on that, and I'll link that in the description just for you to look at, because you can actually build your own email finders inside Clay. My point is this. With email validation, this can either make or break your campaigns, right? Because if you're running validations through a tool that has low coverage, so yeah, like if you don't get enough coverage, in essence, you're just not going to get as good results in terms of email validation. Now, I have two recommendations when it comes to email validation. The first one being Million Verifier. Million Verifier is just, once again, it's pay as you go, which I love. It's not like a monthly subscription, and it's cheap, and it gives you very good coverage. Now, in terms of the emails that it can't validate, so you're gonna when you're using Million Verifier, you'll get three different outcomes. It will either be okay, which means that you can actively send emails to it safely. You're going to get invalid, which means just don't send emails to it. And then you're going to get catch-alls. Now, your catch-alls, I like to use Enrichly. Now, Enrichly is an email verification service specializing specifically on catch-all emails. Okay? So it will accurately determine the deliverability of the email, and then validate it, basically. And that will increase your time. And using these both together, it's affordable, it's cheap, and incredibly effective. Don't get me wrong, Never Bounce is just as good, and Scrubby is just as good. Scrubby is a little bit more expensive than Enrichly, but in essence, my recommendations is Million Verify and Enrichly. Now let's talk about inboxes. Now inboxes, they are one of the most important aspects, to be fair, because without a reliable inbox to send emails with, your emails just aren't going to reach your prospect. Now, I haven't got any top picks because all of them are actively needed. You need Google Workspace, you need Office 365, and you also need a private SMTP provider, which my recommendation is Maldoso. So you need to use all of these together just so you have a diversified stack, because you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to email sending infrastructure. And that's it for the inboxes, really. So have all of them. So have Google, have Office, and have a private email sending infrastructure. What I love about Maldoso as well is that they sort all of the setup. So your SPF, your DKIM, your DMARC is all handled inside Maldoso, so you can actually set up your inboxes and buy your domains all in one place, and it's pretty much done within 10 minutes. They're fantastic. Now, domains. Now, domains are important because your domain provider will impact your deliverability, especially in regards to your IP and so on. Now, my recommendation, although I have some Namecheap domains, majority of my domains are Porkbun. Now, Porkbun is great because they've got a very easy interface. It's so easy to use, and they love to run a discount. So whenever they're running a discount, you can get .com domains for just pennies. So that's why I love Porkbun. Easy to use, easy to set up your cold email, like backend structures, and yeah, just love them. Now scraping. Now your scraping is what is going to enable you to build very powerful campaigns. There's one scraper I've missed, which is Claygen. Now Claygen is the native scraper inside Clay, and it's a web AI scraper. So you can literally prompt it. So you can say, go to this website, extract the case studies, and return me the information, and it'll go and do it. So I did miss that. It should be on this list because it's incredibly powerful, and I use it with every single campaign that I build. Now, every single one of these is my top picks because I actively use them all. Instant Data Scraper is great for scraping things like Apollo, Crunchbase, or any kind of structured data. Zenrose is very good. It's cheap as well for scraping websites, just the internet in general. And like I said, it's cheap. Serpo.dev is honestly one of my favorites. I would say it's number one out of this whole list, simply because of its diversity, right? So Serpo is a automated Google platform, so you can automatically search Google at scale, and we're talking not just the traditional search, but we're talking photos, videos, news, everything in between that. Like, it's crazy. And they also have a web scraping functionality as well. So they're not just a Google search platform, they're also a web scraping platform, which is why, in my opinion, although it's not number one on the list, it's number one for me in terms of my tech stack and what I use it for. And what makes it even more powerful is because Google is the world's biggest database in essence. It's the biggest database of knowledge in the world. And to be able to search that at scale at such a cheap price is ridiculous. So I believe Serpa, their pay-as-you-go platform, which is fantastic. Once again, I love that. And it's only like $50 for 50,000 credits. So that's 50,000 searches. Yeah, making it just incredibly powerful and incredibly affordable as well. Now, Apify is good just simply because of its diversity, right? There's so many different scrapers built by people on the platform. I'm pretty sure if you want to scrape something, there's going to be a scraper on Apify. So we're talking LinkedIn, Yelp, G2, Crunchbase, like so many different websites that there's going to be a kind of a scraper available on Apify. Now that's it really. Now, if you found this helpful at all, don't forget to like and subscribe. And check out the links in the description. So I'll be linking this document, which will have a lot more detail in regards to the tools. And I'll also be linking this database as well. So you get access to even more information and even more tools that are organized and categorized based on their features and characteristics. Apart from that, please subscribe to my newsletter. And yeah, thank you for watching.